You're listening to a new episode of Girl Down Podcast with your host, me, Aeon. So sit back, relax, and listen as I unpack the uncertainty of my 30s, one episode at a time. Go to work in a mini skirt. Absolutely not. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Girl Down Podcast with me, Aeon. I am recording once again from Seattle. I'm out here for work for a couple of days, and this topic has been on my mind. And it's actually a couple of weeks old. Y'all probably have forgotten about it. But a couple of weeks ago, Candy, who's on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, she has a YouTube show called Speak On It. And Phor was a guest on that show. Who is Phor? Phor is a cast member on Black and Cruise Chicago. Very handsome, very fine young man, tattoo artist. Also part-time rapper, but I think about a year or two ago, he got an OnlyFans account, and he's very kinky, we'll say that. So he's into, he has videos of him, like, masturbating, showing his feet, and he's very fine. Like, I would, like, if I had the chance to put him on my listening thing, I would put him on my list. I'm not even gonna sit here in front. Like, he's definitely up my alley, the type of men I like to play with. And he got a lot of attention because on his OnlyFans account, I think earlier this year, he released a video of him getting pegged. For the people who don't know, pegging is typically when a cis woman puts on a strap-on dildo and penetrates her man with the dildo up the butt, up the booty. So he has been on camera letting his cis woman partners peg him. He's also has videos of him playing in his cakes with a toy, getting his cakes ate by the woman. And I get my life. But of course, because Phor is Black and Phor is in Black communities and we are all in Black communities, and Phor is young. Phor has to be either like late 20s or early 30s. It created a lot of backlash and conversations on the Jasmine brands and the shade rooms and all of the gossip blogs because, oh my God, he's supposed to be a Black straight man and he's gay and he's getting his ass played with. Even though all of these niggas today will be honest and let you know that even if they're not getting penetrated, they like ass play. It's a fact. I think more Black cishet men are honest about it, but it is what it is. Niggas like to get their ass ate. I'm a girl that likes to, if my man is into it and the cakes are clean, I typically prefer that they are hairless. I don't like any body hair on the men that I interact with. But I like playing with cakes if they are clean and they are well kept. But outside of me, like in cis heck world, these niggas like more and more each year are talking about how they like to have it done. But of course, we are in a Black community which is homophobic, transphobic, transmissive. So anytime the Black cis man steps out and reveals that he likes something that is other and or queer, you know it's going to be a big thing. So Candy has this show on YouTube called Candy Coated Nights, which is like a show where she is more sexual in nature and she has guests come on and talk about sex. And I really like the show. I enjoy it from time to time. My sister Mariah Moore was on there. I Got My Life. But he was on a couple of weeks before Mariah. And Candy asked the question, which is a natural question to ask. Like, if you're getting pegged and you've done it before, have you been with a trans woman? And he said yes, which it doesn't surprise me that he would be into trans women, because usually when black cishet men are freaky like that and are really well sexually experienced like that, I'm of the belief that you have come across a trans woman or a time or two, because we're naturally in the pool of women that you would come across, especially if you're into freaky cis women, black cis women, where we float in those pools as well. So I wasn't surprised, because I do follow Phor on Freak Twitter. I'm not going to tell y'all my Freak Twitter account because that's none of your business. But I have noticed that Phor has liked some trans women performers' content. He's asked questions directly to his trans fans. I think he's even teased that he may or may not have already filmed content with popular black trans performers. So I already knew that he didn't have hate in his heart for the girls and he was comfortable with the girls. But to see him say it on a platform like Candy's platform, Candy's platforms are highly visible, I was like, oh, this is cute. But we get to the problem where he describes his first encounter with a trans woman, and basically how he set it up was he was messing with a cis woman that was married, and they would get freaky, and one time they had a session and she said she had another girl in the room and she had the lights down low. So when he came in, his girlfriend, the married girl, and this other mystery girl was making out, and he didn't know until they was deep into the session that she was trans, because she was non-op and she pulled her meat out and she gets to having sex with the cis woman. And at first he was surprised, but then he went with it. And then Candy had asked a question, which I applaud her for asking the question, well, does he like trans women? And he said yeah. But then this is where it kind of gets like, you on some bullshit. You're trying to hold on to your little privilege. So she asked him, well, if she had a penis or she was non-op, would you go down on your trans woman that you're with? And he was like, well, if she wants to be a woman, I would just pleasure her. But it's just like, nigga, she's asking a question, and if you were really comfortable with what you like and what you're doing, you will be able to ask the question. Like, if your trans woman has a dick, yeah, you want to suck the dick, but she's still a woman at the end of the day, which is what I would have wanted to hear. So he tells that story. It kind of went over to my head, but I didn't think about it until T.S. Madison, shout out to her, did a review of it, and she just broke it down. And, you know, I kind of feel with T.S. Madison. I'm kind of on the same wavelength of T.S. Madison. We're going to give you a pat on your back for standing in your truth for, but, man, you didn't stand in it all the way, because that's typically not how it goes down. And you're not telling me that you didn't know that girl was trans before you got in the room, and just how you described it, like the lights was all down and stuff. It gave me, let me take the easy way out to make it seem like I was tricked by the trans woman being in a situation, but I just went along for the ride anyway. And it just, even when I heard him discuss it on Candy's thing, on the surface, while I was like, okay, don't make anything, internally, I felt like this was some bullshit, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And it wasn't until I saw T.S. Madison's breakdown of the situation, what is why I feel the way that I feel. We are in 2023. I feel in my heart of hearts that we are going to have more black cishet men in the public eye start to be public about their trans attractions, start to be more public. Maybe they might be to the point where they're in a relationship and with a black trans woman. I'm not talking about the Latina trans girls or the Asian, with a black trans girl. And it has to be black because I'm black and it has to impact my life. And then the man will be black. But anyway, I think we are coming to the day where we are starting to see more black cishet men feel more comfortable with various aspects of their sexuality, with various aspects of their straight plusness, straight plus queer. Because, these niggas they're going to identify as straight till the end of the day. They're going to ride that shit till the wheels fall off. But something in you, in my opinion, is not gay, but it's definitely queer if you are going for women that got titties at the top and a dick at the bottom. Or got titties at the top and used to have a dick at the bottom. To me, Brianna, aka Aeon, it's straightness, but it's something a little bit queer about that. But that's just how I see it. I do think we are going to get to a day where we see more black cishet men become visible, because trans women are bad bitches, and we are just, even if we're not the bad bitch aesthetic, just the regular looking trans women like myself, we are just remarkable people, and who wouldn't want to be with us? But I think the thing that made me uncomfortable, that I couldn't put my finger on, that I couldn't name, and it's the same thing I felt when Malik Yoba came out and or was outed and dealt with this thing, and other trans amorous, trans attracted black men on a regular have tried to come out and platform themselves. It made me realize it reinforced that these black trans amorous men are not going to save us. It doesn't matter what level of visibility they have. They are not going to save us. And two, they don't have the tools to save us. Because at every step and at every turn, these men, especially black straight plus men, they are going to hold on to their masculinity. They are going to hold on to their power at all costs, while throwing us under the bus and not thinking about the consequences. Even in Phor's thing, it seemed innocuous and it seemed innocent, but him not being able to stand on, I knew she was trans before I walked into the room, or I saw she was trans. Nobody tricked me, but I'm standing in it. Yes, I like it. Yes, I like a woman that got titties at the top and a vagina at the bottom, but I also like when she got breasts at the top and a dick at the bottom. I'm going to suck it, and she's still a woman. If you got something to say about her or me, what's up? These men, I'm not saying that it's not ever going to happen, but I don't think it's going to happen in the next 10 years and the next 15 years. I'm open to being wrong. I'm open to being wrong about this, but from what I've seen, from how these men have maneuvered, especially when they're maneuvering in spaces where there's other quote-unquote black cishet men in the room, they are more invested in what they homeboys think about them, about being the man in front of everybody, being the man in front of other black cis women, even though if the black cis woman find out that he likes trans women, black cis women are still going to have sex and partner with them anyway, especially if they're transphobic or transmistic and don't like black trans women. They're still going to partner anyway to prove a point to us, like we give a fuck. But men, period, again, in a patriarchy, men are going to center themselves and protect their ego and protect everything. And this Phor thing, even is as nice as it seemed on the surface, there was no protection for the black trans community. There's no protection to show that we are not tricking these men. They like us just as they are. They are attracted to us. They are seeking us out. They're looking to collaborate with us. Like, no, I have yet to see a black or even, let's take the Malik Yoba situation. You're not being honest, and really you're using a lot of black trans amorous, trans attracted men, even ones that I've interviewed, when you try to pin it down to get them to talk about what it is about trans women. Even if you open up the space for them to talk about sex and be explicit, what do you sexually like? It's always some roundabout, euphemistic conversation, and it's never them explicitly saying, yeah, I like trans women and what they represent as people if we're in a relationship and if I'm trying to get to know them. But if I'm looking for sex, sometimes I like a pre-op or non-op trans woman because I'm attracted to women that have penises. And it's something about that that's arousing to me. Now, I know there's implications and you might get a trans hate mob that, you know, we're more than up. And I get that. But as somebody that is non-op and that knows the real and that has interacted with numerous men who are into the girls and see how they react when there are breasts and penis in the room, and how they are comfortable, and how they are relaxed, and how they enter the session, and how they are more into their manhood, and how comfortable they feel. Like, that's what I want them to just link. I want them to just get to that point where they're able to tell their story and people are just going to look at them as they're gay, and for that to not matter to them because they know who they are. I don't think black cis trans amorous men are there yet. I'm not going to say they ain't never going to get there, but from the evidence that I'm seeing, they are going to pussyfoot and take the long road because keeping up that image, keeping up that facade, keeping up that access to other straight men so they can get cool points, I think that is more important to them. And even after that interview, I believe Phor was getting like harassed or picked on social media because he did some content where he was in a cage and he had a dog mask on and he needed a trainer or something. And I'm not gonna lie, Shade Room and all of that, they was wearing him out. But the thing is, even with them being visible, when they get a fraction of the backlash that black trans women deal with on a consistent basis, they lose it. They talk about they have suicidal ideations and I can't do this. Because really, men in general just don't have communities where they're able to have these conversations and be supportive to each other. And they're isolated. You know, I get all of that. But that's men's business to figure out how to build that community and set that up. As a woman of trans experience, that's none of my business. I don't. But every time black trans amorous men in the public eye have the opportunity to retreat when it comes to their dealings with us or admitting or owning their retraction, they retreat because they can't handle the scrutiny. They can't handle a quarter of the things that black trans women have to go with every day just to affirm where we are. And now, when black trans amorous men are outed or come out or want to make a stand, I'm cautious as hell and I'm not giving roses. I'm not... Brother, you're going to have to do way more than be visible. You're going to have to stand in the fire, stand in this heat, stand up with us when we're advocating for stuff other than, you know, the right to be sexual and have sex with us, which is something y'all niggas never do. Y'all are never there. And that's just a fact. Y'all are never there. And I don't know what it's going to take, but that's none of my business. But just coming out and just being visible as a black man with your trans amory is not enough, especially if you are not going to be plain language with it and say what it is that you really like and stand on that shit, even if you know you're going to get a backlash or people are going to assume that you're gay. So what? So what? That's not going to stop you from being attracted to trans women. It's damn sure not going to stop you all from continuing to pursue us with the veracity in which y'all do. So y'all just need to, I guess, come on out the closet or invite us in. That's the language you're supposed to be evolving to, whatever. But yeah, just being visible and saying that you like the girls, or even saying that you would be open to filming that's not enough. And I'm a woman that I like specific. I like plain language. What are you talking about? What are we really talking about? What does this mean? Can you stand on it? Because there's no way these trans amorous men, they are a trip, honey. They are really a trip. Some of them, a lot of them want to do the least amount of work and have the most access to the girls that they can, and still wondering why they can't make two ends meet. Because it's like you're late and you're playing games, and you don't say what you mean and mean what you say. That's why y'all continue to put yourselves in situations to be outed. And it's just, I have some sympathy for you, but at the end of the day, y'all are men and y'all have way more societal power than a black trans woman ever could. And y'all need to figure that out and work that out amongst yourselves. And the truth is, it's the way more of y'all that are interested in trans women, black trans women specifically, have been with black trans women specifically, but you're not speaking about it because nobody's asking you, or if they're asking you, have you been with a man? And that gives you a fail-safe to not really bring it, because y'all know that we are not men, but y'all know that we are not cis women. But a lot of y'all have been with the girls knowingly, pursued the girls knowingly, and I need y'all to grow some fucking balls and just relinquish. I promise y'all, if y'all relinquish this manhood thing, y'all will be okay. Y'all will be okay, and y'all will be open and free to build community amongst yourselves and stop requiring black trans women to do all of this work and be soft with y'all when we don't need to be, when y'all are the ones harming us. And we have to, and even in men being open and honest about their trans amorousness, they still are harmful in many ways to the black trans women that they're in proximity to. Especially when we don't hold them accountable to say what they mean and mean what they say. But their visibility is not going to save us. In the words of my sis Ajane, these trans attracted men are not here to save us. A lot of them are here to get a nut and go on about their business. And it's our job when we see them to act, and I wish it was a trans woman in that interview. I wish T.S. Madison would have been on that episode of Candy Cold and Ice, because she could have dug a little deeper and could have been like, come on, bruh. Come on. And also to you cis het men, if you are letting these cis women peg you, you can't tell me that you haven't thought about being with a non-op or a pre-op trans woman. Like, in 2023, let's be real, what do we have to lose? But our chains. But that's all that I got for this topic. What do you think about Phor and other black cis het or cis plus men in the public eye being more open about their trans experience and their trans attractiveness and all of that stuff? What do y'all think about that? Do y'all think this visibility is what we need? Do you think it's perfect? If you have thoughts, send them to girldownpodcast@gmail.com, and I would love to read one of your letters on the show. But until next time, I will talk to you all later. Bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of Girl Down Podcast with me, Aeon. If you like the show, please be sure to go on over to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this podcast. Also, make sure that you're engaging with me on social media. Also, if you have any inquiries or you want to send me any questions, be sure to email me at girldownpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, bye y'all.